Hi everybody, Mischa here with Word of the Day, and there it is, vapid. What does this adjective, vapid, mean? Well, if a person or a thing is described as vapid, it means that they are dull, boring, empty, no substance, no character, no spirit. This is not a compliment. It comes from the Latin word vapidus, meaning flat tasting, which actually refers to wine. If a wine is vapidus, it has no character. It's kind of like eh. Now, this word, vapid, it comes into English in 1656 with an old friend of ours, Thomas Blount. Thomas Blount was not one of these highfalutin Cambridge, Oxford types. He was coming out of this burgeoning middle class, and he was a lexicographer. That's somebody who writes dictionaries, and he was an antiquarian, somebody who's like into old books. In 1656, he wrote and published a dictionary called Glossographia. And this was the last, the biggest, and the best of the hard word dictionaries. This is like 100 years before Samuel Johnson writes the first, attempted to write the first complete English dictionary. These hard word dictionaries were for this new burgeoning middle class that was educated, but they weren't academics. And they wanted to be able to read literature, and they would run into these hard words that they didn't hear in regular conversation, or pursue professions, the law, science. Those hard word dictionaries were for those folks to see these unusual words that they needed to know but didn't see in the common parlance. Okay, now, vapid comes into English in that dictionary. So let's use it in a couple of sentences. How about this? Susie was so excited to be in Paris on her class trip. She couldn't wait to climb the Eiffel Tower, but her friend Mary was very vapid and only interested in buying purses. If that sounds like a true story, it is. And how about this? Second sentence for Earth Month. If you have had a chance to spend time in national parks like Yosemite or the Grand Canyon, then when you get back home and go to the mall and see a dribbly little fountain and a few plants, seems kind of vapid, really. And finally, my own vapid sentence. I once got through 5 whole minutes of the Real Vapid Housewives of San Diego. But I had to give up when they asked their Puerto Rican waiter not only how it was that he spoke English, but where in Mexico was Puerto Rico. Really? Maybe beyond vapid? Anyhow, listen, that's the word of the day, vapid. Use it in the comments, please. And go out there in the world and use it. God knows there's plenty of opportunity. And I'll see you tomorrow.